Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Press Plate Lifestyle Inspired podcast, where we do podcast interviews with inspiring people like our new friend today, Jennifer. Say hi, Jennifer.
Hi.
To help people find the resources, tools, and support they need to be their best inspired selves. So, how are you doing this lovely day, Miss Jennifer?
I'm doing really well, Jackie. I'm really excited to be here with you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I was telling Jennifer, for the audience before, if you are not on the video and you're on the audio, she has this lovely background in her office of a full moon kind of going all the way down to not being a full moon, a bunch of different photos, and it's really, it's just very beautiful. So thank you for bringing that into our space today, because we could all use some smiles.
Thank you. We can.
Well, why don't you, if you wouldn't mind, Jennifer, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about who you are and what you're doing with us today?
Sure. Well, I am a mom of two. I am an author, a speaker. I help people really by helping them tap into their self-worth. I'm an intuitive healer. I do energy work. And really love to help people kind of come into the trueness of who they are, that unlimited potential. I found my way on this journey because I was sick for 7 years, diagnosed with a bunch of chronic illnesses, told I would be in a wheelchair, told all the limitations. And as a young mom, that was very scary, and did all the traditional medical route, did what I felt was alternative at the time, like chiropractic, and acupuncture and those kinds of things. And nothing really helped. And when I saw the movie The Secret, something shifted in me, and I had already started to do a little bit of gratitude work, and I was able to heal myself in 3 weeks by changing the way I thought. So all illness went away. I was off all medications within, 3 weeks I was off pain pills, but it took me about a year to get off the blood thinner. They said I would be on for life because I wouldn't go back to doctors for a while. I wanted to just kind of maintain that health. And yeah, I saw the way it transformed my life, and then I had to dive into it. I was like, how did I do that? And found out more about the mind-body connection. I have a degree in psychology from Penn State, so understood a little bit about why what I did worked, but I wanted to understand deeper, and also how to help other people do the same. Because when you're chronically ill, you join support groups, you meet a lot of other people that are chronically ill, and so I really wanted to be that inspiration. And through this journey, it's been 13 years since I healed myself, really used those same mind-body techniques to create the career that I wanted, to land myself a publishing deal, to meet the love of my life, and start a really healthy relationship, to put myself out in the community and be a part of my community where I could help out, really to help people online. So I know that we can use these methods not just to heal physically, but to heal all areas of our life, whatever needs healing. But it has to come from that self-love first, that deservedness. And sometimes we need a lot of healing before we can come into that self-worth and step into a life maybe we never dared to dream of.
Yeah. One of the, philosophies that I've adopted, I think probably in just the last few years, is the place that healing comes from is from curiosity, not from judgment. And I think a lot of us who are at some point have a condition, or a long-term condition, autoimmune condition, as soon as you start thinking you deserve it somehow, that's like that path to judgment versus the one to curiosity. And so I wonder for you, if when you said there was a shift when you were watching the movie The Secret, if it was like this curiosity shift that said, well, maybe there's some other way, because this way isn't working.
Absolutely. That is what happened. And I do feel like we get so judgmental, and especially when we're sick, we're judging ourselves. I'm not a good enough mom. Oh, I'm not a good enough wife. I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing that wrong. Like that constant critic is going, and here you are sick. Like you'd never do that to your kid if they were sick, or someone you loved if they were sick. So I love that, the moving to curiosity. And I was like, hey, this is one way I haven't tried before, and what if I sat down and dove into Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer, Eckhart Tolle and Caroline Myss, a couple hours a day for weeks on end? What if I started really listening to my self-talk and became mindful of the energy I was sending to my legs? Because if I'm waking up and saying, ow, my legs, guess what? I'm sending all that negative energy to my legs instead of saying, you know what, I'm grateful for my legs. I was a dancer for years. Thank you for being so strong for me. And thank you to the parts of my body that don't hurt. I know there's healthy cells in my body, and really training my brain to just refocus. And we all have that power. It can be a little tricky, especially there are things we can get stuck on, but with that love and intention and that non-judgment, like you said, it's very important to move past that judgment of oneself and just into that love, and knowing that, life can be better, but we have to allow it. And it does take a little bit of work, but it's worth it. It's definitely worth it.
But if you think about like I'm a big follower of sort of the habit type philosophies. I don't know the right word for it. But it's just patterns, right? I'm a technologist. I spent like 20 years in healthcare IT data integration, and before I moved into sort of a different area in life. And everything's about patterns, but you get stuck in patterns, right? It's not a good, bad, or indifferent. It just is. But we also
Absolutely.
get stuck in the sick pattern, right? Well, I'm sick. I'm sick. I'm sick.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you're going to doctors, they're confirming it. And I had doctors kind of look at me really sad. Oh, that's so sad that you're, in your 30s and you're going to be ill the rest of your life and there's nothing you can do, and it was very interesting to me that when I did heal myself and finally got back to the doctor, I had actually been kind of arguing with my nurse practitioner because she wanted me to go on antidepressants when I was sick. And I was like, no, I need to know how I'm feeling. I'm not depressed. I'm upset because I'm sick. When I got back to the doctor, it was a new doctor, Indian, so Eastern medicine, and said, I don't prescribe pain pills easy. I hadn't been on them for a long time, and do you meditate? So it was very interesting that when I went back and shifted my energy, the doctor had shifted.
well, that's beautiful. So, wow, your story it's quite a story to tell, kind of going from that place of not being sure you can walk to helping others with their struggles. And so why don't just like a small shift in the conversation, will you tell us a little bit about your latest book? You have like a
I wrote
book
a
out
book
as
in
well, right?
2016. I was published by Llewellyn Publishing, A Short Path to Change, 30 Ways to Transform Your Life. About little short chapters with an exercise at the end of each about getting rid of your old stuff and being mindful, what you want to create, what you might come across. I also throw the chakras in because I am very big on chakras and energy work, and really how to understand that inner dialogue and the patterns that we've been in, and giving you little exercises to change them in a gentle way. I don't think I have any exercise that's more than like 10, 15 minutes long, because I know that we struggle when things seem hard. I want to make things really easy. And what's really important too is those little windows of time, because I feel like a lot of people feel like, well, I don't have time to meditate, and I don't have time to do this. But we're always thinking, we're always saying things to ourselves. So looking at the little windows of time, the shower is such a beautiful time, no matter how many kids you have, how much you have going on. Usually the shower is your sacred time. Like, what are you telling yourself during that time? Are you going through your to-do list? Are you irritated at somebody? Or are you present? Like really giving thanks for the running water that you have, and setting intentions for the day. And what are you excited about? So really noticing these little windows of time, a commute to work, when we're laying in bed at night, when we wake up in the morning, those little windows of time are so important and can start to shift our life pretty dramatically when we just start tuning in and paying attention and mindfully changing that inner dialogue.
Yeah. So, excuse me. One of the things you had mentioned, like earlier on when you're kind of talking about the different things that you've skill sets you've adapted or adopted over the last few years, you talk about intuitive healer, and I've heard that term a lot, but I'm not sure I actually know what that is. Would you mind sharing with the audience kind of what that means to you, and how you use that to support others?
Sure. Well, I do I hesitate with the word healer because I don't feel like I heal anyone. I offer people tools so that they can do the inner work and heal themselves. I think that one of my gifts is I love learning and I love accumulating tools and I love creating tools. So when I talk to someone, it's really tuning in and figuring out what tools I feel like will work for them, what will resonate with them. And I would rather throw 10 tools at someone and have them resonate with two than only give them two and have that not resonate. So I would like, I like to, tell people different things they can do, different ways they can change their mind, during the day, as well as I do energy work, so I do energy work where someone can lay down and receive energy. I also do more woo-woo stuff like soul realignment, so I access the Akashic Records and dive into what someone is like at soul level and share their gifts with them. So maybe it's that validation that they need and almost that permission to move on from a pattern that they've been in. So each client's very different. It's just me tuning in. I think that's what intuitive healer means. I have a lot of tools, I love them all. They all are beautiful, but we're all so different. Different things work for every person. And I don't really believe in one way that everyone can heal. So I want to just share as much as I've learned. I'm always learning and taking classes too, so that I can help people.
So how now that a lot of us are kind of remote, do any of your techniques work through, technology? Are you still able to help individuals, overcome blocks?
Absolutely. Actually, 80 to 90% of my clients are at a distance anyway, all over the world. I have an office in the Healing Center. It's usually between 10 and 20% of my clients that I see there. I'm in a small college town. There just aren't a ton of people. There's a lot of gifted healers here. So I do love connecting with people. Yeah, I've done almost every continent, had clients from every continent. Energy is transmuted no matter where we are. We know that from when we think about someone and the phone rings and it's them. We have these energetic connections and it's non-local and it is beautiful. I have worked with a lot of late stage cancer clients, and what's beautiful is that a lot of times they're dragged to doctors' offices, they're weak, they're not feeling good, and for energy healing, you can just lay down in your favorite couch or chair and receive. You can listen to one of my meditations as I'm sending energy. The Akashic record clearing, I always do kind of remotely anyway, and then I share with them the results of or a type word, a prayer that they can say to really bring the restrictions into, help transmute the blocks and restrictions so they can move forward along their spiritual path. So everything I do, I can do basically non-local. I do love having clients in person too, but it's wonderful to be able to help people all over the world.
I suppose that's really interesting too. I know I'm a coach in my community, and I live in the Midwest, and it's not really a thing yet here. People aren't as open to alternative ways of resolving things, but a lot of my clients are from the West Coast. Like most of my clients are West Coast. I have some international and a few on the East Coast, but we're not there yet. So maybe maybe the energy will shift a bit when people are trying to find new ways to deal with their new reality. So I'm trying to be very hopeful that this is a change and that will
Consciousness.
benefit us all. Yeah.
I feel that way too. And with everyone at home, we're getting more time to tune in. Okay, the numbing out might work for a little while, the TV and stuff, but you know what? People are going to get bored of that, and they're going to need some quiet, and they're going to need to look within and maybe reassess their job, maybe reassess their relationship they're trapped in, reassess what's working and not working in their lives and start to shift things. I do feel like this is as horrendous as it is I don't want any casualties, I do feel like we're all in this together and we're going to come out the other side stronger, more united. A lot of things weren't working for a long time, and a shift needed to happen.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't this way, but I'm glad that there seems to be a change in the way we're all showing up. Um, Someone made it was a funny meme, but actually made me think deeper, like one of those like, oh, and then I go, whoa, where they said, I always thought I didn't keep my house clean because I didn't have time. Now I realize it wasn't that, right? Like, because now you have all this time, and it made me also think that how many other things have
Yeah.
we said, well, I'm just too busy to work out. I'm just too busy to drink water. I'm just too busy to make my meal. I'm going to go through the drive-through. I'm just too busy. And were you, I guess, I hope this is a time of reflection where we can ask the question,
Yeah.
were you really
What's
too
really,
busy?
yeah, what's really important to you? Reassessing that. And technology, while I love it, and we wouldn't be able to connect without it, and it connects me to my clients all over the world, it's really just helped so much with the distraction. It's added to that. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I remember when the answering machine came, and before that, you couldn't even, you couldn't even leave a message for someone. And now, like, if someone doesn't text you back in 10 minutes, someone can get angry. It's sped things up so much and distracted us so much that it's very easy not to go inward. And we really have to consciously choose that time.
Yeah, one of my friends is a communication leadership researcher, and he always says, just because you can communicate at the speed of send doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, I love that.
I was like, ooh, that's pretty neat. But I think what's interesting is we have all these the ability to mass communicate. But I would almost dare to say I'm not sure if that's communicating.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's like being sprayed with a fire hose or being talked at.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my mid 40s, and my grandparents actually still had the rotary phone on the wall. That was like,
Oh yeah, I had one of those.
and it was like a really big deal to use the phone. Like, we had to get in line. You couldn't call long distance. There's all these rules that we're like, well, we might as well just go outside and play, right? Or well, let's just go see our friend or let's all go to the park. And it's easier now to just text or email or whatever the case is. And again, like you said, I don't think that's bad. But if we don't stop to communicate
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where a lot of the communication is broken. It's like we clipped off the one side of the telephone game, the one that goes back to us, and that's not good. It's not helping any of us.
No, because then we don't even really notice the patterns. It's like we're living Groundhog Day over and over again. There is that there's the fact that I love, like, we have 60,000 thoughts a day, the average person. 95% of them are the same as yesterday, and 80% are negative. So that's a lot of wiggle room to work with. And we get bombarded with news, quote unquote, whether we want to or not, and it is really challenging to just overcome those stories. And we have to be mindful to do it. We have to want to do it. And once you start shifting things to even where like a little over 50% is positive, like everything in your life starts to change.
Yeah.
Because you're mindfully doing it and choosing the life you want rather than just being that hamster on the wheel. I mean, it is up to us. We have to give ourselves permission and love ourselves enough to take that time and not be scared of that quiet time alone when our brain's going. A lot of people will numb out. What can I drink? What can I, how can I not pay attention? Can I binge Netflix? But it's really about the answers are within. That's where you're going to get the answers. That's where you can tune in and get that self-love too, because at soul level, we're love. We know we deserve the best life possible, but it's those stories that we repeat, and we begin living from them if we don't address them and allow that healing to happen.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So who's your ideal client then? Like, if someone is struggling with X and they need Y, they should call Jenny.
If someone knows that life can be easier in some way in their life, whether it's a relationship, whether it's their health, whether it's their job, and knows things can be easier, but they just can't quite get out of that rut or pattern. They have no clue how to take that next step, or perhaps, their mind is opening. They know there's more, but they don't know how to tap into that. I love that kind of client because they're ready. You're ready to stop doing what you've been doing and maybe put a little bit of effort into making that change. It doesn't take a crazy amount of effort. You don't have to change every single thing in your life. It's really those mindful moments that start. And again, some of the tools I use can really confirm who you are at soul level. The Akashic record clearing, some of the energetic work that I use can really just give you that self-confidence and self-worth. I have an online class, Embracing Bliss, that goes through mindfulness. It goes through breath work. It goes through self-love. It goes through self-worth. Really about loving yourself enough to remove those blocks. Let them go. Let stuff go. Forgiveness is a big one too, and self-forgiveness, to give yourself permission to move to that next level.
Well, thank you. That's beautiful. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about, some of the things you're able to help them with?
People can go to my website is the best way. It's jennymannion.com, JennyMannion.com. And there's free gifts there. I give a free meditation. You can sign up for my Self-Worth Quotient Mini Akashic reading. There's a link to my class there. So and I give a free monthly distance healing. So you can put yourself and loved ones on the list, receive a free meditation, and receive energy once a month. So I do love to offer a lot to people, and there's lots of offerings about my services and the class and my book and other things on my website.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today, and I look forward to staying in touch.
Thank you, Jackie. I really enjoyed meeting with you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.